Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth, and on this channel we work on building your spiritual confidence so you can listen to your intuition and read your tarot cards with ease. And today we are going to be talking about the Two of Swords. We are going to be talking about the numerology, the astrology, the Kabbalah, the tarot timing, elements, colors, and what this image actually means. If you think, Waite Smith, stick with me, because even if you're reading a modern tarot deck, the meaning of the Two of Swords should link back to the traditional meaning that is expressed so beautifully on this card. So I'm going to spin the camera around and show you a deeper dive into this card so that you can understand the meaning at a deeper level, knowing from ground up how this card's been constructed to express the meaning. And I think it helps you remember the cards more. So stick with me. I'm still working my way through the deck. We've got to get all the way through to the King of Pentacles. So I'm going to spin the camera around and let's have a look at the Two of Swords. So let's have a look at the Two of Swords. The Lord of Peace Restored is the Golden Dawn title. And I always follow through the symbolism of the Golden Dawn. And the reason I do that is because Pamela Colman Smith and Arthur Waite, when they designed the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot, followed that Golden Dawn symbolism, which was the organization, the spiritual organization that they were members of at the time. So why do I teach Rider-Waite Smith? You're probably watching all these videos coming up onto my channel thinking, why on earth is Elizabeth teaching Rider-Waite Smith? And the reason I'm teaching it is because it's such a universal deck. And the decks that I use are the ones in the yellow box, because I think that they're supposed to have the most traditional colors. So this is my giant deck that I'm using here, which I love because I'm old and I can't see. And this is the little deck. And you can also get a really teeny tiny deck that looks like, this is one that's still in its packet, that looks like this, if you want something that's really good to carry in your handbag. And they're all in my Amazon shop. So I will make sure that the links to those are down in the description box, along with an invitation to join my newsletter list, where you will receive an invitation to my very special free members community where all my free goodies live. These particular cheat sheets that I'm using are available for purchase in my Etsy shop, and they include my notes that I did to be able to create these videos, as well as my symbolism cheat sheets that I wrote that go out, that people use, that absolutely love. I think they're one of my best sellers in my shop because they show the card in its entirety. So, Lord of Peace Restored. Numerology of 2, which is balance of opposites. So 2 is 1 + 1, which is new beginnings coming together and creating choice, is how I look at it. And this card in particular really expresses that. So let's have a look at the other cards that are 2s in the Minor Arcana. So we've got 2 of Wands. Which choice will I take? The one I'm conscious of or the one I'm unconscious of? 2 of Swords, 2 different pathways. Trust your intuition. You've got your blindfold on. Which one will you take? 2 of Cups. Again, powerful, the power of friendship or a relationship where each balances the other. And the power of balancing too many options and being in here. You can see the lemniscate or the infinity symbol, where this person is just, they've got too much going on. Too many choices, too many options. So too much to balance. So they're the 4 minor arcana cards. Let's have a look at the major arcana cards, which I've got here somewhere. Here they are. 2, which is the High Priestess. Again, we've got feminine energy and masculine energy, that intuitive spiritual balance. And if you'd like to know more about that card, I have already talked about it. And then we've got 11, Justice, which is, again, balance of opposites. You can see the scales here, the balance of justice and the importance of keeping life in balance. And then we've got Judgment. 2, so we've got 11, 1 plus 1 makes 2, and 20 for Judgment, 2 plus 0. Will you stay where you are, or will you heed the call, is essentially the idea behind that card. So one alternative or the other. Again, 2, balance of opposites. So thinking about timing for this card, the 2 of Swords, we are in the, where are we? First decan of Libra. So we're over here now on the astrological wheel, and we're working our way through the sign of Libra for these particular cards. So this is where we are on the astrological wheel. If you want to look at my cheat sheet, this sheet just is a summary of this sheet, which has got the cards on. And if you look there, you can see, if we're looking for Swords here, Libra is here, an air sign, and we've got 2 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and 4 of Swords working their way through the 3 decans of Libra. So Libra is a sign of balance, as we know. Its symbol is the scales. It's an air sign, and so of course it's one of the signs that's attributed to the Swords. So that's interesting to see it on the wheel. It also gives you some timing. So if we look at timing for the 2 of Swords, if you are reading this if you are going to be reading this card in a spread that has a spot for timing. And I will do some more work on you with that, where I'm really wanting to talk about symbolism today, and it is so easy to get sidetracked, but I'm actually going to do a whole series of videos for you where I go through each card and place it in different spots on the, I'm thinking I'm going to use the Celtic cross and show you how you would interpret that card with other cards on the spread, to help you understand a little bit about the interpretation. So if you're reading for a position of timing, you can use the dates from September 23 to October 2. And again, you have to have a photographic memory to memorize it all. Use my cheat sheet, which has got all the dates on here, which is particularly handy if you are doing an email reading, because of course you can have all my cheat sheets with you, and I've got more and more coming that are going to be particularly good in helping you if you are doing written readings, to help you not have that writer's block. Or the traditional timing for Swords, and this is me going out onto the web and looking at traditional timing of tarot cards and looking at all of my books, and I'm looking at my library now, which is expanding and needs to be decluttered. I have come to the conclusion that the overall period of time for Swords is autumn. So if you're wanting to just pull some timing out of the air, that gives you a little bit of a guide. I, as I've said, I love timing. I actually love studying astrological timing, if that makes sense. It's fun and it really helps you make sense of the cards. But the problem is that it doesn't really work when you're reading. And the reason I know this is I went to a talk on tarot timing at the Victorian Tarot Guild, and I was so excited to go because I'd done all this work on it, including my astrological cheat sheets, which include timing, which are in my Etsy shop, which I will make sure there is a link to down in the comments. And it didn't work. We tried to do readings with timing and it just didn't work. So just bear that in mind. And I'm also, of course, very aware that you just need to be a little bit careful when you're doing readings, particularly for people who are vulnerable, because if you tell them how things are going to be, and I've done a whole video on this, if you tell them how things are going to be, if they've been in an abusive relationship with someone that's been highly controlling and who has told them what to do all the time, then you're just doing the same thing. And also, you can really profoundly impact how someone decides to live their life based on telling them what to do. They might have come into the reading with one thought, they leave the reading with another based on what you've told them, and that may not always be helpful. So if we look at the card, it's placed on the Tree of Life, and the Seraphot it's sitting on is Chokmah, which is, again, a very high, dynamic, creative, positive, masculine energy of intuition and spontaneity. Chokmah is wisdom. So again, particularly if you're looking at this card, your wisdom is using your intuition to make your choice. And all four of the minor arcana twos sit on that particular Seraphot on the Tree of Life. Moon in Libra, first decan. Moon in Libra is about finding your interpersonal harmony. The moon represents the ebb and flow of life and deep intuition. If you're wondering where I'm reading this from, it's from my astrological cheat sheet, which is available in my Etsy shop. Libra works on your sense of fairness and weighing up your options. There are choices in life, and this card indicates you're not quite ready to make a choice, especially around relationships with others and empathy. The blindfold calls you to pause and listen to your intuition rather than rushing in and making a commitment. Let's have a look at the symbolism on the card because there's a lot. So, how the person is sitting. They're sitting really square on that bench with their legs slightly apart and their arms crossed over their chest, holding the swords as if to block out any emotion or flow of ideas inwards towards their heart and soul. So they're sitting there, their legs are slightly apart, showing some balance and some receptivity, but then the arms are across the heart space. So they are closed off and they are considering two options only. The blindfold suggests taking a chance, listening to your intuition, that there's lots of thinking going on, which of course fits with being swords because swords are air. And also that this person doesn't want to be distracted. They don't want you coming along and giving your 2 cents worth. They want to make this decision on their own. The crossed swords indicate 2 pathways here. 2 pathways, two choices. The blades going off the edge of the tarot card indicates the effects of each choice are far-reaching beyond this person's immediate sphere of influence. So when you're looking at the swords, if you see swords going off the card, that is always significant. So the 2 swords are about balance. They're about the idea of choices and scales. The water behind symbolizes emotion. The waters and the waters sort of look like they're going on forever off the edge of the world. And this is symbolic of the overwhelming emotion you can feel when you're faced with choice. The islands in the water indicate you can work your way through the emotional problems that you might be facing. And as we know with rocks in the water, there's the part that sticks out, a bit like an iceberg, and there's the stuff that's under the water. So the idea of some of the emotion being conscious and some of it unconscious, but you are going to be able to work your way through it. The shore on the other side is about seeing the other side of the problem. You've got what's immediately in front of you and then what's behind you that perhaps you might not be conscious of. The crescent moon here is symbolic of time passing, the cycles of time, and the psychic power of moving from one phase in your life or within your thinking to another. The moon is also a great symbol of femininity and reminds us to be wary of our softer, more intuitive side. And if you think of the High Priestess, this is an extremely feminine card. Although it has masculine symbolism on it, I'm just looking for it so I can show it to you. So I like to show you the cards as we go. Oh, of course it's not sitting there, is it? What have I done with it? Here it is. Here you can see this is a card of feminine energy. Although you have got masculine energy here in the grey pillar, that's more just to balance out the feminine energy inside this card. And again, you've got this symbolism in that card harking back to the moon. Blue symbolism, we've got blue water, which of course we've talked about is emotion. The blue sky indicating you will come through this. You will make a clear decision. There is hope that you're going to come through this confusion and you're going to be able to make a decision. The grey clothing here and the grey ground in front is just reflective of the fact that this figure is in confusion as we look at them now. They're trying to make a decision, but the blue behind them again shows that hope that they are going to work through it. So the meaning I've written here on my cheat sheet is the Two of Swords expresses that moment when decisions are difficult and you don't know which way to go. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck because the meaning is just so clear. So clear. It's one of those ones I look at when I'm looking at the whole layout and think, okay, I know what's happening here. What are the cards around that card that flavor where that card's going? So it is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I do hope you've enjoyed my presentation on the symbolism of the Two of Swords and you've got something out of it. I am going to be doing all of the cards all the way through to the King of Pentacles. We've started at the full card. So if you're just joining us, please go back to the beginning and start at the beginning, listen to the introduction and follow the videos through. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter, connectwithyourdeck.com/newsletter to get all my goodies. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.